Hey, Shalom, Akim. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Of course, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Tell us his truth. This is Non-Mom with the DC camp, and this is another video from Jeffrey Robinson. He's a defense attorney out of Seattle, Washington. And in this series of videos that he does, this particular one is on the Confederacy and, in the Civil War. And he goes in on them. He breaks it down good. And the date on here is a couple of years ago, so I'm just now, Salakia if anyone's done this before, but hey, Spirit wanted to come out again. Because what? The Most High is making Esau, the so-called white man, bare. All of his stuff is coming out that he thought was hid, all right? Because he's being pulled down out of power, all right? So here we go.
What was the Civil War and the Confederate flag really about? And as opposed to listening to people, one of the things you can read is this phrase, read about is a phrase called the lost cause. And that's a suggestion that it wasn't really slavery, it was states' rights. Did we hear that from Ronald Reagan's advisors? That's what it was all about. And I have no complaint with that. It was about states' rights. It was about the right to own other human beings as slaves. It was about culture, and the culture was white supremacy. It was about those things that the people who say the monument should stay up, it was about the things that they say it's about. It's just that their history is causing them to see heritage and culture in a way that is completely false.
Yep.
So I have an idea. If you want to know why the southern states left the Union and why they started the Civil War, why don't you just ask them? South Carolina, the election of a man to the high office of President of the United States whose opinions and purposes are hostile to slavery. Mississippi, our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. A blow at slavery is a blow at commerce and civilization. They are telling you as clearly as they can, our entire economy is built on slavery, and if you take that away from us, we're going to end up with nothing but retail jobs. Louisiana, the people of the slaveholding states are bound together by the same necessity and determination to preserve African slavery. Alabama declared that the election of Lincoln cannot be regarded otherwise than a solemn declaration on the part of a great majority of the northern people of hostility to the South, her property, and her institutions. Her property were the human beings that they owned. And the institution was the institution of white supremacy and slavery. They are telling you as plainly as they can, and my question is, why are we so unwilling to listen? Why are we so unwilling to believe exactly what they're telling us? This is my favorite. All white men are, and of right ought to be, entitled to equal civil and political rights, that the servitude of the African race as it existing in the states is mutually beneficial to both bond and free, and is abundantly authorized and justified by the experience of mankind and the revealed will of the Almighty Creator. Do you think that they stopped believing this because the war was over? They are telling you as clearly as they can. At the South, and with our people, of course, slavery is the element of all value, and the destruction of that destroys all that is property. This is why we are willing to send our fathers and brothers and sons to make war on the North to try and separate our country. Because if we don't, you're taking away our very lifeblood. We need these slaves, and we are comfortable with it, and we thought you were too. And finally, Let me just go back a second. The Confederate battle flag, and maybe many people know this, it went through several iterations. The first flag was essentially all white, and it had what you see up here as a little thing in the corner. And then it went through several different iterations, but they all were the same thing. And if you want to go to the person who would have the best read on what the flag meant, how about the person who created the flag? And what he had to say was, as a people, we are fighting to maintain the heaven-ordained supremacy of the white man over the inferior or colored race. If we ain't fighting to keep slavery, then what the hell are we fighting for? There is no question about what the Civil War was about. And there is no question about the monuments to that war, because every person that is lionized in those monuments may have been brave, they may have been strong, they may have done incredible acts of courage on the battlefield, they killed other people, and maybe they gave their own lives, and they did it so that they could own other human beings like chattel.
There you go. Again, the series is When Heritage Equal Hate, the Truth About the Confederacy in America. Now, these were just 2 5 to 6 minute snippets, 2 videos that I've just done. All right. And I'll post the link so you can see the whole thing in its entirety. All right, if you so desire. I hope you do. All right, but once again, when we try to express that what we're going through is different than any other slavery in the history of the world, people scoff. Why? Because they're thinking of those imposters over there claiming to be Jews and this Holocaust, hoax, you know. And again, that was done on purpose. All right? Because everybody is taught to look down, you know, on us and like we're so insignificant. And they never thought to realize that those people over there are lying their asses off. All right? They con the whole world, deceive them into believing something that never happened. You want to talk about a conspiracy? That's your conspiracy there. All right? And no one's paying attention to it. They want to accuse us. Oh, you're just, nah, there's no way. You know, they're good at deflecting attention, all right, from what's really going on and to make believe. Why do you think Hollywood's so popular? It's a form of witchcraft, all right? So let me get a scripture here, or 2 or 3. And this is going to be Ezekiel once it reloads here. Ezekiel 5, and I will start at 9. It says, and I will do in thee that which I have not done, and whereunto I will not do any more the like, because of all thine abominations. Talking about Israel. Therefore the fathers shall eat the sons in the midst of thee, and the sons shall eat their fathers. And I will execute judgments in thee, and the whole remnant of thee will I scatter into all the winds. 11. Wherefore, as I live, saith the Most High Yahweh, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things, and with all thine abominations, therefore will I also diminish thee. Neither shall mine eye spare, neither will I have any pity. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence, and with famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about thee, and I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. 13. Thus shall mine anger be accomplished, and I will cause my fury to rest upon them, and I will be comforted. And they shall know that the Most High Yahweh hath spoken it in my zeal, when I have accomplished my fury in them. All right. 14, moreover, I will make thee waste. Has he not done that? And a reproach among the nations that are round about thee in the sight of all that pass by. All right. What is that reproach? Strong's H 2781. Karapa. Salaki. Yeah. Scorn, taunt, scorn upon enemy, reproach, resting upon condition of shame, disgrace. Are we not? Wasn't that part of the curse? Deuteronomy 28. All right. Being a byword and all that. So let's look that up. A taunt. A lot of you don't realize being called black is a taunt. Here it is. Taunt. To reproach in a mocking, insulting, or contemptuous manner. As a synonym, ridicule. See? All day, every day. Black. Thug. So far gone that you love calling yourself black. Black history. You're not black. None of us are black. There's no person that's black on the face of the earth. And for that matter, there's no one that's white. It's a social construct. It's a box that our enemy put us in. All right? And it's been so much psychological damage done to us. Remember, we were broken down physically, mentally, and spiritually. All right? All right, so I'm going to cut it right there once again. It's called The Confederate Flag and the Lost Cause. Truth about the Confederacy. And like I say, I'll post a link to the whole thing. If you desire, you can watch that in its entirety. All right, so I hope whoever views this is edified. All right, once again, these lies that this devil has taught for so long, everything's being torn down and torn apart. He's being revealed. 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter. All right, Isaiah 25:7. That veil is being lifted. Jeremiah 49:10. All right, Most High is making Esau bare. All right, Obadiah, book of Obadiah, verses 11 through 15 or 16. All right, he shouldn't have done the things that he did. It's all going to come back on him. All right. So with that, once again, call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Rakakadash, and of course, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, teaching us his truth. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth with all honesty and sincerity, while trying to wake up the remaining hopefully elect. So with that, Shalom.